Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I'm with the host this afternoon, Michael, followed by other host Kat.
Hello.
And other host Sage.
Hi.
And what's up? We're here to talk about things.
Yeah.
Sure are.
We have at least one topic of which Kat actually doesn't have much of input on.
I sure shouldn't have come. They also didn't think I was coming. They got rid of my seat.
Well, that is true because Kat said nothing in the chat. So we just assumed she wasn't coming.
It's a yes until it's a no.
No, because sometimes you just don't say things and also don't show up.
No? That only happened when I say, oh, I'm unsure. Like, I might not.
Well, that's true.
Most of the time, I then have to text her outside the chat to be like,
No,
hey,
but
are you coming?
I assumed you texted
I
her
have
outside
already
of the chat.
told
I was busy
you.
today. I forgot.
I have already told you I'm not sure work's kind of crazy.
That's
and
also
then
true.
I haven't shown up. And that's happened like twice. But we already had the conversation of I'm unsure. Work's kind of crazy right now.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this conversation doesn't need to be long, so it'll be fine. But me and Sage have both watched, what is it? Rozé of the Rebellion?
Of the Recapture.
Of the Recapture. The sequel series to Code Geass.
Yeah.
And there are opinions to be had.
There sure are.
Should we real quick generalize? And then, because
No.
No? All right, just hate the
All right.
spoilers.
She's not going to watch it. It's
No,
fine.
I meant for the people listening.
They're not going to watch it either.
Okay.
It's fine.
Hey,
What if-
spoilers.
Okay. Sure.
I think the obvious number one problem is it is way too short.
Sure is.
They
How long
went
is it?
12
episodes.
Okay.
And this needed to be at least 24.
At least. Really, it was another 50 episode story.
They could have gone for the 50 episode model here, and it would have, I think, in my opinion, significantly improved.
The problem is that it is still telling the exact fucking same story. So, really, if it's 50 episodes, you're just bored because it's the same fucking thing.
Well, it's not even at first, like, yes, it is definitely telling the same story, but then, like, as you get towards the tail end of it, I'm like, okay, like, I can kind of see what you're trying to do here, but, like, I needed way more explanation and, like, actual reasons to care about the characters, because it, like Code Geass, this has a very big cast of characters, but unlike Code Geass, we get, like, 5 seconds with everybody.
Wait, is this about Lelouch?
No.
Oh,
It has nothing to do with him, in fact. He
Lelouch-
shows up for 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Oh.
Lelouch only shows up for 5 seconds in like the first episode and then fucks off.
And then is this not about the other character that you said you liked? This is like another show?
Oh,
Akito?
no. So they do show up for a hot
But yes,
second.
Akito does show up.
So I messaged Sage because I was watching it, and I think it was like all caps. I just spit out what I was drinking and almost died because randomly shit's happening, and then it's just
Shit's hitting
Akito
the
and his
fan.
group walking down the street
Yeah.
of Tokyo, and you're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And then like you think they die for a hot second, and then they just show up and they're kicking ass, and I'm like, hell yeah.
It's
But
so random too, because prior to that, the only
reference is Lelouch to anything else.
I was gonna say prior to that, like we only see Lelouch for 5 seconds. Cornelia is like breadcrumbs in there.
Yeah.
And then I think we see Kaguya also breadcrumbs in there. And so randomly in like episode 9, I literally had to do a double take. I was like, wait a second, let me go back. Was that Akito and his like squad just now? What the fuck? And then right after that, we see like a 0.5 second long frame of Nonali.
Nonali and Zero.
Yeah, and Zero.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the
Literally,
fuck is
like,
going on?
episode 9,
they don't
and
show
then
up
it's-
again at all.
No, they show
Nonali
up all the time.
and Suzaku?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. Sorry.
But
Suzaku or Zero? I know, but
they're
like
the same person.
No, I
No,
know,
Zero. Well, I mean, you
but-
see Suzaku's face because it goes inside the helmet.
No,
but-
well, because the point was that Suzaku's not allowed to be Suzaku.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
yes,
that's
it's
why-
Zero.
Okay,
Zero.
but that's why I'm clarifying
Yeah,
no,
because I was
yeah.
curious if he's somehow
No,
No,
allowed
because
to
he is
be.
Zero. That
Technically-
he's still stuck
that's-
that way.
I'm just asking.
Technically, the Suzaku identity is dead.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is still
Just
Zero.
trying
Yes.
to ask.
Still
if-
posing as
But,
Zero.
yeah, but like 9 episodes in, and then it's like, anyway, this thing is happening, and it's all around the world. So many billions of people are dying in seconds, and then it's like, Akito and his group walking down Japan. And for a hot second, you're not even sure if it is them until someone
And
goes, yeah, Akito, that's what I thought. And then
They're
you're like,
from somewhere else.
they're
right?
From a prequel series.
No,
Oh,
they're
no,
from,
in between.
like
Yeah.
a location.
they're from
somewhere
like
else.
France,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
weird for them to be there.
Well, they want
right?
I believe in the show because they say it in Rozé too that they're like we always wanted to go to Japan for
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
specifically Tokyo, right? Is
Yeah.
where they are.
Okay.
I think they do mention that in the show, but I couldn't remember. But I think that is like a plot point that pops up once or twice because Akito is from Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just ends up in not France because it's whatever
France
bullshit
adjacent.
fake
Okay.
country.
Okay.
Somehow I don't even remember fucking
I
how he
don't
gets up
remember-
in France.
I don't remember either. I watched that when it came out, and that was it.
Yeah.
And when did this one come out?
Rosé this year,
Oh,
like literally, like
okay.
It aired
it
this
just
summer.
ended like last month.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay,
aired this
sure.
summer. I will say though, the show looks great.
Sure,
The nightmares look great. I feel like
the main nightmare looks fantastic. I really love how it looks, like the accents to it and everything,
Yeah.
the blue and red.
And it's funny because we just watched Code Geass, so seeing like the evolution in terms of just the animation and like the style and the budget.
It was very smooth.
What
Oh,
is
it
this?
looked
I
great.
found it. Never mind. I got
It looked really good.
Also, I'm forgetting the restrictor band that
Oh my
that
God.
holds back Jesus and God itself.
Yeah,
This girl is pretending to be a boy
yeah.
during the
I could
for
see
a lot
that.
of the show, right?
Sure.
And so what the fuck is it? Binder?
Yeah.
Yeah, binder. Thank you. When she's being a boy, she's wearing a binder, and there's a scene where she like takes this binder off, and she goes from like concave, like young boy chest
To watermelons.
like watermelons. And I remember recording that, sending it to Sage, and being like,
What the
that's,
fuck?
I was like, that's her Geass power. it's the fact that she can fucking make her breast from quadruple. Triple Z's
Quadruple triple Z.
to not even an A cup,
To non-existent. Oh, I will say,
and that she can breathe while doing that.
I also because it's too short, like they kept having these plot twist moments where I'm like, every time a plot twist would happen, I'll be like, wow, this is actually a good twist. But like,
If they gave it time to, like,
needed
marinate.
any amount of build-up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I needed suspense, and I need to care about these
because like
characters.
legitimately, there's a moment where
Who's this bitch?
Sakuya, that's the one pretending to be a boy.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Sakuya is pretending to be Rozé, and Rozé has a brother
Yeah,
named Ash. And so like, and you find out that Rozé is consistently using their Geass to keep Ash as to thinking that Rozé is Ash's brother.
Yeah.
So like he keeps looking at Rozé like, oh yeah, that's my brother, I must protect him. And there's like this big twist where like you start learning more about Ash's history, and he actually ran into Sakuya's father in prison, and they start talking and they like form a bond. And before her dad gets executed, she's like makes him promise to protect his daughter, and also like maybe marry her. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so Ash is like, okay, you know what? I will. I'll find her. I'll protect her. And at the same time, it's like Rosé's story about like what's going on with her like during this period of time and trying not to die and whatever. And so her and Ash run into each other like while he's escaping, and she's like trying not to get murdered. And in
The father was also trying to escape.
And in the exact same second, before Ash can say anything, she's like, hey, Ash, I'm your brother. Protect me like the person you care most about.
Yeah.
And so she finds out that he would have actually protected her no matter what, and she's just been fucking with him the entire time with his
It was
mind
a
control
complete
power.
waste of time.
And like great potential for a twist
Yeah.
that is undercut by the fact that it happens in like 5 seconds, and then he leaves to like leave her stranded in a prison, and then comes back and saves her anyway.
I also think they give away, like, because when the opening episode is like, okay, these two brothers, they're like the nameless mercenaries, and it opens with them, and the show is immediately telling you that they are not actually brothers, but not like explicitly, but like through hints and stuff. And I'm like,
But they're like found family or whatever.
not even that, because they give it away like too quickly, in my opinion. So I'm like, why? Like, you could have built tension. Like, there could have been some, because you learn basically that he's under a Gias. Ash, the older brother, is under a Gias. I think you learned that in like the second episode.
It was like like the end or beginning of it.
Yeah, so, which could have been interesting if they just let things like marinate. But again, they went with the 12 episode model, which I don't understand why.
I mean, it's got to be because they weren't allowed to do more, but I just wonder why they weren't.
I wonder why too, because I know Akito the Exiled was only like 8 episodes.
It was all OVAs.
Oh yes, it was all OVAs, but that was a much smaller story. This one, you have like tons of groups to like keep track of.
And it like
got a 6.8 out of 10.
Yeah, like it restarts itself too, because like all of Japan is under a Neo Britannia like government, which is also like an offshoot of Britannia. Like it's not even Britannia, and like they're just like a radicalized version, but they're all like 11s again.
Like big enough to.
They're all 11s again.
They have
they're
the
all
budget,
like,
you know?
Yeah, it's really fucking stupid. Because you just feel like you're watching the same goddamn thing again.
But then it gets even dumber, in my opinion, because.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that like that was kind of my point. Like when we did our anime club, that was like, what's stopping this from happening again? And then they did it. They just did exactly
really
that.
Explain how.
They don't explain how. But throughout the show, we get like little breadcrumbs about this character named Norland, who's supposedly like the head of Neo Britannia. But we basically learn zero about him. Just that he's the head of Britannia and he wears a mask the entire time, right? So we know his name. That's about it. And then in like episode 10, Sakuya confronts him in person. And she's like, he takes his mask off in front of her. And she's like, oh my God, are you my grandfather? She's Lelouch's daughter, by the way.
Okay. With who?
Wait, what?
Is it not implied that she's Lelouch's daughter?
No.
Because how is she related to the family?
She is somebody else's kid.
Because
Not
Sakura
Lelouch.
is related to Kaguya.
She's not Lelouch's kid. That's not I'm pretty certain that was not what that was implying.
I think I had that mixed up in my head then. But yeah,
because
so she's part
she's
of the
way too old to be, because everyone else is still around the relative same age.
Isn't she like 17?
Yeah, but like it hasn't been 17 years since the end of the show.
I'm going to guess this has to be at least... What, you think this is 10 years after they're like, yay, world peace?
It can't be. It's not. I don't know. It's somebody else's kid.
It says that.
Whose kid is she?
Princess Sherry and Governor Jugo.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
Lelouch's. I never once got that.
Sorry. So
Who are these people?
But random people.
Okay.
But anyway, so her grandfather is Charles Z. Britannia, who's Lelouch's father.
Yeah.
He was the emperor.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh my God, you're my grandfather? How can this be? Because Charles dies in Code Geass,
Yep.
right? And then we find out, no, I'm not technically your grandfather. I was just a vessel that was created for his consciousness
To
be implanted into.
Oh.
So he could like keep living.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, but
How did she sense this?
oh, when he takes off the mask, like the eyes are the same.
Okay.
But
Obviously, come on.
then
I don't know why.
then Norland is like, but Charles died before his consciousness was implanted into me.
So I'm just
So
Norland.
I'm just like here.
Does
But,
he
like,
have a consciousness?
I don't understand. They don't explain it because I'm like, okay,
'Cause he's
so
not
if you're
Charles,
just
then.
a vessel,
Yeah.
like how do you
You're an
have
empty husk?
like
what are you?
how do you have your own motives and like agency?
Yeah. Did you just create one?
Like,
That's not how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're just a vessel,
He
which is
essentially
empty.
created, like he essentially is like creates his own desire based on the fact that he was formed from Charles and is just
He's
like the
AI.
he's
and
like
he just created.
yeah, like
it.
he was just like I got this off of like the pure essence of Charles.
Essentially, like it's so
He's
stupid.
AI Charles.
It's so
Like,
dumb.
He just
And then
studied him, and he's like, I am him.
And then Norland is like, oh, it's too late to stop my dastardly plans. Like, I'm going to wipe out all of humanity.
Okay.
And
For funsies.
and Sakuya is like, why? And then I shit you not, she starts listing off all plausible reasons as to why he would do this.
To him?
Yes.
Okay.
And he keeps just responding, that's not it. That's not it.
That's also true.
That's
he's
not
AI.
it. Like that's I'm like, who wrote this?
Yeah.
Who approved this?
Yeah.
And then
Were you guys watching a dub or sub?
I watch it the dub.
Okay.
Also dumb.
But yeah, and then so like we don't get a clear answer, but it seems like he's just disgusted by the idea of humanity. So
Pretty much.
But then I'm like, but my whole thinking, I'm like, okay, but then if you wipe out humanity, like what are you gonna do? Just putz around the earth by yourself?
Like,
Like,
I
is
think that
your
was pretty much
body
all that was
is
chill
your
for him.
body not organic? Like, will you not eventually die too? Like, and
Yeah,
then,
but I don't think he cared.
I get, but like, I think that's such a like dumb motive in
I
my
mean, yeah,
opinion.
I agree, but
I don't know. It seems kind of Charles to me.
I mean, Charles, he just wanted to stop the flow of time. Like,
he wanted everyone to stop lying and have no face anymore.
yeah.
No hidden faces.
But being like
No masks. That's
Yeah.
disgusted by humanity, that seems kind of
I guess,
Charles
but
to
like
me.
for Charles, he was doing it more in like a way of like, oh, this
To
will
fix
this will
them.
better
yeah.
the human race.
Yeah.
Whereas Norland is like,
He's like, well, I can't fix them, so I'm just gonna
Let me
get
just
rid
wipe
of
them out.
Yeah.
it's honestly
He's like, I'm not Charles. I'm Charles adjacent,
And then-
I'm
and
gonna
then-
do my best.
and then it's so funny because Norland, like the way the show progresses in terms of time, extremely confusing. There is no sense of how long things are going on for.
It's 12 episodes.
Except
They
at
can't
one
really.
point, I think in like episode 8, we get like
Bless
a
you.
cut to
Thank you.
black, and it's like a few months later. That's what it says on the screen.
Okay,
Yeah, sure does.
And then Norland, we see Norland in this like new super ultra mega nightmare, right? Which is part of his grand plan. And this nightmare, honestly, it's just too much in my opinion. Like, he doesn't need to like operate it. It just works
Operates itself.
through his mind.
Oh,
yeah, it works
okay,
through like
okay.
thought.
Okay.
And he has like lasers that don't like laser anything. It just takes away the power.
Yeah, so
From
if the
another
laser
nightmare?
hits you, it drains the power and like the energy from the nightmare, and you just
So your nightmare is just inoperable.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. I'm
But
picking
he,
it up.
in like the final fight scene, it's so funny. So you have Ash and Rozé, their nightmares, they can link up, right? So they're like one giant nightmare.
they have their magical
like
girl
Power
transformation every
Rangers.
now
yeah,
and
yeah,
then.
yeah, like Voltron,
Yeah.
two-person Voltron.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so it's them flying around trying to be like, how can we attack him, right? And then Norland's nightmare, you just see like flashing lines of pink in circles for his like depowering laser.
Oh my god.
And then like they solve it by Ash asks for Rozé to put him under another
Geass.
Geass.
And Sakuya is like, why would you want that? Which I think is a reasonable response. And he's like, no, I need it so I can have like my fullest potential of conviction.
In the
So
same way that
what's-
Suzaku like had the live
Yeah.
and he would use that to power up,
So-
Ash was asking for that similar thing.
But what's the Geass you want?
That he that she make him her knight, so that way he has to protect her.
And
Okay.
no, not only that, but also that he does everything in his power to save the world.
Oh yeah.
Because Norland's plan is to essentially
Yeah.
destroy the world.
So like she then starts running calculations about like how to avoid all the lasers while he's like doing
I'm
the
honestly
actual
surprised
manual power to
they
do
didn't
it.
just use a mirror to just depower his.
They did have one around them.
I don't know.
Um,
Plot's wild. I figured
The
they
plot
probably
is wild.
they would do something weird
Also,
like that.
I do respect though that they said they needed 60 seconds and that fight lasts 60 seconds.
Yeah.
They just needed 60 seconds to avoid the lasers.
It's only because it was 12 episodes long.
Yeah.
They only had 60
true.
seconds
LOL.
to give
But
it.
I did like that it was actually 60.
Nicely timed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things also in movies when they're like 48 minutes till this bomb goes off and it's actually 48 minutes till the end of the
Yeah,
movie.
because a lot of times they'll say stuff and then
And it's like
where
episodes
you'll
later.
see like the bomb timer is like 30 seconds and like 30 minutes later
Yeah.
the bomb goes off.
The casual Frieza. The planet will explode in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
27 episodes later, you have like 3 minutes.
Yeah. But also, so on top of this whole shenanigans going on, we also have characters that are
What
not.
episode is this? What episode are we on?
So
The
that
end.
that was
Oh, okay.
in episode 12.
Okay.
But at the same time, they want us to care about like freedom groups.
Yeah,
freedom
they're
fighter
like
groups.
jumping around the world to different groups fighting back. Like, so you have
Are
Akito's
they-
group, you have.
Are they all fighting the same group, or are they all fighting different groups?
So, Norlin activated like these robots that basically blender humans.
Yeah,
They like
So
suck humans in
they
and blend
suck
them into
it,
paste.
and then
Ew.
when they they
Paste.
blend them up, and they shoot out the blood.
Blood mist.
Ew.
And so
And they can also work in water. They can like burrow through buildings. They have 8
they're like
legs.
super like indestructible.
Yeah.
And like they've already wiped out like 1 billion plus people. And
And there's like an infinite number of them. They just spawn.
yeah. And so like
How did they stop them?
it's just jumping around like Akito's group fighting them. Suzaku Zero fighting them. Fucking Cornelia and her people fighting them with Blonde Boy.
Gino.
Gino.
And then Neo Britannia joins the fight because they're like, this is not what we wanted out of this.
Britannia shows up and is like, "Hey, Neo Britannia, you gotta fucking fix this shit." And a lot of the higher ups that are left in Neo Britannia are like, "Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. We'll help you guys."
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we just wanted to be racist. We did not mean for the end of the world to happen.
Racist.
Like-
We just wanted this one group of people to die,
Yeah,
not all of the groups of people to
everyone.
die.
They're like, if we
Yeah.
all get wiped out, who are we supposed to target?
yeah, and then so like. And then like it's just jumping around. Colin shows up for a hot second.
Literally 1 second.
For a hot second. But I'm like, hell yeah. And then also
also-
like some random other groups that I don't know if we're supposed to know who they are.
So at the beginning of the show, because Rozé and Ash, they kind of just like do their own thing, right? So they're mercenaries. They're for hire. They're work for whoever, as long as you pay them, right?
Yeah.
But then they end up joining a like freedom fighter group called, I think, the Seven Pointed Star, I think, or
7 stars.
Seven Stars, something along those lines. And they're kind of like the Black Knights light,
Okay.
right? Like think early days of the organization. So they have mechs, you know, they have money, but they're not like super big.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a Z plot in that where the leader of the 7 stars, his daughter is part of their like forces, and she's trying to like work her way up the ranks, but she doesn't want people to think that it was like handed to her because her dad's the main guy.
Oh yeah, the Colin of the group,
Yes, essentially.
but not as skilled.
Not as
she is skilled, but not nearly as skilled.
not as skilled, and like honestly,
She's like top 5.
Okay.
She has like
But that's because everybody else
in
sucks.
12 episodes, she's got like 15 minutes of screen time.
Okay.
So like completely unimportant.
Yeah.
And like
Also
so,
kind of boring design.
honestly, yeah. But yeah, so but then the show wants me to care about her relationship with her father, and I'm like, you didn't give me any time. I don't know anything about these people. And so then
Maybe they're just hoping they're gonna get a season 2, so then they can like build on that little 15 minutes that they gave you.
You can't do a season 2. It ends in a way that's like this story's over.
yeah, it's
Then I
pretty-
don't know.
It's pretty final. It's not like it ends on a cliffhanger of like, ooh, will they get Norland in the end kind of a thing? You know, like,
Yeah.
It's like, no, they got it. Problem
yeah,
solved.
they got him.
I don't know.
But yeah, so in the final battle where everything's going to shit, like the human race is at stake, she becomes second in command, but then she falters and she's like, I don't know what to do. And then some other guy who's part of their group is like, well, to be a true leader, like, your squad is gonna follow you, so if you stop, they will also stop. Like
because
like a man
because
coming in
somebody
and
just like
telling you.
sacrificed themselves, and she's like, I can't have people's lives on my head. And,
It's
and
so-
before he blows up, he's like, people are gonna die regardless. You got to make the right call.
And then in the moment where like she could have the hero moment, she chooses not to, and then the
Yeah.
guy who was like, this is what it means to be a true leader, has the hero moment. So I'm like, what
Who do you want me to care about in
like
this
what do you want me to
situation?
get from this?
Yeah.
Because all I learned is maybe she did get it just because her dad is the leader, because this girl didn't prove herself, you know? She didn't do anything where it's like, oh, okay, like she's really
She
for
proved
the
herself,
cause, like
yeah.
she believes in like, you know, the team, and like is a true leader, right? But she didn't do any of that. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. There's,
It's just bonkers.
yeah.
And it's crazy too, because you would think they would be like, okay, we only have 12 episodes, so let's make them count. No, everything is at absolute lightning pace.
I just think that they were like in a boardroom and they're like, okay, we have this story for you. And then they're like, okay, great. Pitch it to us. Like, okay, it's a spin-off of Code Geass. I'm like, okay, we love it already. Like, keep going.
They're like, Code Geass is popular. It made us a lot of money.
Yeah, like, go ahead. And then, you know, they pitch the entire story and they're like, that sounds great. So interesting. I'm glad you have all of these people, all of these characters. We love that. That sounds great. Sounds like it's going to make us a lot of money. They're like, you can have it. That sounds great. And then they're like, okay, great. Like, we'll start making all of our
We need
you
2
know,
seasons.
Yeah, 2 seasons, 50 episodes. Like, you know, we'll start making it right now. Like, we're so excited. And they're like, whoa. no. 12 episodes. That's it. And they're like, wait, what?
No season 2.
Yeah.
You got to cram it all in there.
Like, didn't you hear all of the plot points that we just said? Didn't you hear
The
all the
number of characters?
Yeah, didn't you hear all of the great moments and twists and turns and all of the things that we said?
Wait,
and they're like,
it's like
12 episodes, take it or leave it.
You want to
and
hear
that's
something
it.
so funny? So I think like midway through, a random character shows up, and the show legitimately treats it like we're supposed to know who this is and why they matter. And I'm like, I have not seen this person before. You cannot just
They're just
throw that-
gaslighting
Yeah.
you.
Also,
it's insane.
yeah, there's also like in the same vein of the fact that they're doing the same story again. There's a person that looks exactly like Sakura. Who's
Yeah, Sakura.
Yeah, Sakura. Who is did get captured and is now like running
But
as
they're
like
not related,
fucking know.
or they're like distantly related,
Who
because
fucking
they're
knows? They look-
literally identical.
Yeah, they're like
Like
identical twins,
twins?
but they're not or
Okay.
something. But like she is also trying to set up like the same thing that fucking what's her face trying to do, Yuffie. She's also trying to set up the same fucking thing. You're doing the same plot, and she's like trying to set this up in a way that everyone will listen, and like
But
she does
Sakura-
start setting it up, and people have the same problem about it. Like,
But Sakura is essentially like a body double for Sakuya, who's Rozé. So she then becomes the Empress of Britannia, but like a figurehead, no real power. Kind of like they did with Nonali when they made her viceroy.
Okay.
it's just like it's
but
all
even
yeah.
dumber.
Yeah, it's
And
just
then
stupider.
there's all these night characters.
So wait, is Rozé not a real person? Is that always
Rozé was
Sakuya?
made up by Sakuya.
Okay,
Rosé's
Sakuya
like
is always Rozé.
Yeah.
Yes,
Got it.
Rozé is like an like a disguise.
Okay, got it.
An alternate identity.
Just
you know.
making sure I'm understanding. I didn't know if it was like how the maid would sometimes pretend to be Lelouch,
No.
No.
like that kind of thing. Okay,
No,
always,
always Rozé.
Got
That's
it.
her like alternate character.
Okay, got it.
And that's like the front that she puts up with the like freedom fighter groups
Yeah.
is as Rozé,
Got it.
not as herself.
Got it.
But yeah, so then there's all these night characters we're supposed to care about, and I shit you not, there's this one night character who I actually really like her character design. It's really cute. But at the beginning, she's supposed to be like very blasé, but like kind of like trying to be cute, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really see like the harm in killing innocent people.
Okay.
And like she kind of stays like that for a while. And then they have this moment where like I think they truly believe they were doing something, because they have this one-on-one confrontation between this character and Sakura as Sakuya, so posing as the Empress.
Yeah.
And she's like, imposing violence on others to get what you want is not showing true strength. Like, fighting for what you really believe in is true strength. And it cuts to, like, the character we're supposed to care about, her being like that really affected her personally. And then we get this flashback scene of her as a kid, right? And it's like her maybe like less than 10, right? And it's her and her parents. They work at like a street food type vibe,
Like a vendor, yeah.
right? And I shit you not, in this flashback, some random guy just comes up, major crowded street, okay? The parents are right there.
Murders them.
Scoops up the kid, her,
Uh-huh.
and starts running away. And then the parents are like, yo, what the fuck? That's our kid. Pop, both the parents.
Oh my god.
And then in the next breath, Norland shows up and stabs the guy. And I'm like, this is
the most unhinged
this
flashback.
This is not how you do character development. Like,
What do you mean? How do you don't do character development all in one flashback?
oh my god,
in 5 seconds?
It's so funny.
Also, I found the binder scene so she could see.
So you're showing her.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's so funny. I'm like
just insane.
I'm like, and I think what hurts me the most is like the bullet points for what could have been really well executed show are there,
Yeah.
but they just chose not to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's very frustrating because the show looks
Needed
great.
another 38 episodes.
Bare,
And, like, it
bare minimum
sounds
they needed
interesting.
bare
Like,
minimum
I
they
don't
needed
even-
24 episodes.
I don't even know how you're explaining this much plot to me in 12 episodes.
Bro, when I tell you,
Like-
each episode is dense.
Like,
There
I
is
really
no
don't get
filler.
it.
There is no breathing room. There's no time.
Yeah.
There's also this like subplot with this fucking like mad scientist guy
Oh my
who's
God,
like
I
trying to
fucking
I
break.
this
really,
guy.
I really don't know how there's any room
Who's like-
for you to
who's
tell
Oh,
like-
and there's
anything
another
else.
funny
Oh my
subplot I have to
God.
tell you about.
So he's like trying to figure out how to make Gios work, like, and understand how it works on like a cellular level.
Yeah, he wants to know the science
And
of
so
it.
he kidnaps Sakuya, and it like has her like fucking like bondage,
Bondage
harness.
style harness tying
Yeah,
up.
like
Okay.
in the it's suspended in the air. And he's like, okay, so we're gonna bring some people into your room, and you're gonna Gios them, and then we're gonna bring them back here, and we're gonna dissect them, kill them, and rip them apart. And if you don't do that, I'll kill them. And you're like,
They're going to die either way.
it literally, he
Yes,
says that,
seriously.
and she has this moment where she's like, internal.
What will I do?
What do I do? I can't let them die.
They're
but
going to die
I
either
can't use
way.
my
the
Gios
entire
on them.
time you're watching this, and you're like, bitch, he just said he would
And-
kill them if you did it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's so funny too because she's sitting there like really thinking this over, like what should I do? And the guy's like, all right, you're taking too fucking long. Let's just kill them anyway.
And he kills them, and then she's like, it's all
Oh
my
my
fault.
God, they died.
Oh my God. And he's like, anyway, I'm going to bring in some new ones. And she's like, what do I do?
Oh my
and you're like,
God.
they die either way.
Yeah.
Just don't do anything.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But at least this way, when you don't do something, they die infinitely faster than if you did it to them.
Plus, he doesn't get to learn about this power, like, that he could use for harm.
Yep.
Yeah,
like saying that
It's
he's
like a whole episode that she is in this and having this internal monologue with herself
Why did
multiple
it-
fucking
so
times.
How does she figure out the...
Ash shows
no,
up.
Oh my God. Ash shows up because he learns that Sakuya or Rozé is not actually his brother.
And has been lying to him the whole
and
time.
how does he figure out...
because the character that they introduce and act like we've known this character
Okay.
has reverse Gios,
Like
Okay.
Orange.
Yeah.
like Orange, like Jeremiah, right?
Yeah.
And he uses
Jeremiah Gutwald.
and he uses the reverse Gios on Ash to be like, no, you're not actually this person's brother. Your real brother is dead, and Norland killed him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, because this guy is like bloodthirsty and he wants to fight and kill Ash, but then he doesn't kill him. I don't fucking know, right? So
Sure.
then Ash goes and storms the place, and he looks like he's about to kill Sakuya, but then it cuts to the next episode, and I shit you not, the next episode starts with Sakuya as Rozé and Ash as Ash, completely normal. And I'm like, whoa. Did I miss something?
Uh-huh.
Because what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like Ash
But then-
gets into the secret security system, busts down like all these levels of impenetrable security.
Yeah.
Gets to the place. Then the mad scientist is like, I've got a fucking nightmare too. I'll kick your ass. And then Ash fucking murders the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And then Ash like breaks the suspended BDSM room and is like, brings her down, and she's like, thanks, Ash. Like, I'm so sorry. Don't kill me. And he just like has a gun to her head, and then it just episode ends,
And then they're okay.
and then it jumps to them.
But then in the next episode, right, we get a flashback of what happened in that room, like how they came out of it okay. And it's her just being like, I know I shouldn't have, but can you still protect me, please?
Oh
And
wait,
he's like,
I forgot the the
yeah,
most important part.
All right.
He breaks into the facility. Before Mad Scientist fights him, he breaks in, looks at her, like gets to her, brings her down, and then goes to kill her, and is like, no, gets back in his nightmare and leaves to leave her with the Mad Scientist. And then more of the plot continues where she's like, I deserve this. This is terrible. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Do I give the Gios to these people or don't I? And then you go through the rest of the episode with all this. And then he breaks back in again.
It's so stupid.
And then kills the scientist. And then goes back and is like, now I'm going to kill you.
What the fuck?
So in a different subplot,
I can't believe they wasted a whole episode on this. It
So
sounds
two
over-
episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say an episode and a half. Like,
so
how
then
long
in a
was this?
different subplot, Sakuya is working at a cafe
As a cafe maid.
as a
Maid cafe,
maid
whatever.
cafe.
You
type
said the
vibe.
show doesn't have filler.
Just you wait.
Okay.
So she works at a maid cafe, but dressed as herself,
Okay.
and she's doing this so she can talk to this woman, Natalie, or Natalia, I think is her name actually. But Natalia is Sakura / Sakuya. She's like her handler,
Okay.
right? The Empress's handler.
Okay.
So she does this so she can talk to her and like pass secret coded messages along and be like, is Sakura okay? Right?
Sure.
When I tell you. Then in this time, Ash goes to the cafe and he's like immediately smitten with her. And he's like, hey, I'm Ash and I love stray cats and cooking and blah, blah, blah. Right? And he asks for her name, and she's like literally internal monologue. Wait, being like, what should I say? I can't say I'm Sakuya. I can't say I'm Rozé. What do I do? So she's like,
she looks exactly the same.
No, he's never seen Sakuya.
yeah, he's
Oh,
never
okay,
seen Sakuya.
Okay. So this is before.
Well, technically he did
the
once,
mad
but that was
scientist thing?
Before the
this is-
Gios.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is before it was broken.
So he doesn't
I
know what she
understand.
looks like.
I understand.
But
Also, during this entire time when he's asking these questions like rapid fire and she's having that internal monologue, he's been downing piping hot coffee each time.
chugging.
Like, she only walks over to give him coffee. So
He
she
needs
gets
an
coffee.
excuse
he just
for her-
downs it and is like, I'll take more. And he's just doing
this
and she's
man
like-
is manic, okay?
And so he has like
He's
8
down bad.
piping hot cups of coffee
fresh
that
out of the
she
pot.
actively goes, how the fuck did you just drink that? It was so hot.
But yeah, so
Wait, so why can't she just say her name? He doesn't know.
Because
her.
because Sakuya is the escaped princess that's like, you know, like she's a big deal.
Oh.
she can't say her name is Sakuya because
So why can't she say Sakura?
so Sakura is her body double, right?
Yeah,
Well,
but
she-
she's
I
taking
think-
on
I think-
Sakuya.
She just didn't think about
So
that.
I think
she's
if
a dumb bitch.
Maybe she
why
thought
didn't
if she said
if
she
the
was-
other one is taking on that one,
Anyway,
swap.
Anyway, so she says her name is Raspberry.
What a dumb bitch. What are we
She
doing
sure
here?
does.
What are we doing here?
And this man is like immediately like, this is wifey right there.
Raspberry is wifey.
Raspberry is wifey.
What is happening?
And then Sakuya keeps having this internal monologue being like, I don't know what to do. Like, right? And then later in the day, because they have like
You have to tell me what episode this is because I just want to see
I think
this
it's like
scene.
episode 3 or
Oh
4.
my god.
But then later in the day, because Ash and Rozé, they have like a pretty sweet like RV type thing that they travel in.
Mm-hmm.
So like they have like nice living quarters in here. It's pretty big actually.
Ash
and,
also
like,
adopts like a
1,000
billion.
1,000 stray animals.
Yeah, Ash adopts like any stray animal.
But anyway, so they're like chilling in their RV, and Rozé is like, "Oh, how was your day today?" to see if he would bring up raspberry. And I'm like, what is the plan here?
Yeah.
What if he's like, I met the woman of my dreams?
I met wifey today. Like, what the fuck?
And then later in the
I
show,
burned my esophagus off.
And-
I need
and
to go to the hospital.
what I tell you, this man might be dumber than bricks, because after he figures we get the reveal that Sakya is Rozé and not his IRL brother. Later in the show, he mentions raspberry again, being like,
but does not put it together.
he's like, I haven't seen her at the cafe.
Oh
I
my
hope
God.
she's okay. And Rozé has to be like, it's me. It's
Yeah,
me.
he literally she's like, I hate to do this again to you,
Like,
but
bro.
that's me. And he gets super red. He's like, the whole time, and she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and he's like, I'm just gonna go over here now.
This poor guy.
Oh my God, this guy's just taking L's left and right.
Also, yeah, Sakura is in no shape or form related to her. She's just her body double and best friend.
Oh, okay. So they just happen to be identical.
Yep, just
Doppelganger.
happen to be identical.
Must be nice.
The difference is that her irises are fully purple, and Sakia's have a hint of blue in the middle.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, how
Did you
dare
know
you not be
that?
able to fucking tell the
Are their
difference?
watermelons the same?
Yes.
Immediate unison, yes.
They absolutely are.
All right, guys.
But yeah, this show is wild start to finish, and
sounds it.
it's almost disappointing that like I can see what could have been a really excellent show, and instead I'm just like, y'all dropped the ball.
No,
so
I
fucking
mean,
hard.
it definitely sounds like it. Like, it almost makes me want to watch it, but I know it's not good. So, like, I'm not gonna, but it almost makes me want to.
Have you ever watched something at like 2 times speed just to get through it? That's what this feels like, but regular.
Well,
Could you imagine watching this at 2 times speed?
the worst part too
Just
about
crack.
about the show is that
It would be
it
4 minutes.
suffers
Yeah.
it suffers the Disney Plus jail, which
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
that Netflix used to do, where anime would come out on Netflix and they would never advertise it, but now like they're better at it, kind of. For the most part, if an anime big enough is coming out on Netflix, people know about it.
Watch one anime on Netflix, all it will do is
Right.
advertise.
But like at least like
Freaking
it'll
anime
mostly
to you.
advertise things now.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, literally nobody knew Rozé was coming out.
Yeah.
Like nobody. Like there was like multiple tweets that I kept seeing like week after week where it was like, hey, by the way, did you know that there's a sequel of Code Geass coming out?
Also, they're the one. Are they the ones who produced it? If they're the
No,
ones who
I think they're
have
just
it?
the streaming service for it. They're just the
Oh, 'cause
distributor.
that's
They
what-
have
They don't-
the distribution.
Yeah, they
for it
don't.
here.
They don't put out any commercials or ads for any anime they have. They have had a couple big anime that like they've been posting that literally no one heard about and like were just like amazing shows that nobody ever watched because I didn't know they existed. That's like a constant complaint that I keep seeing is that Disney Plus is just
I
like
just-
tanking these shows.
I just
I don't
wonder
know
if
why
they
they
have
don't do it
anything
like-
to do with the 12 episodes.
I don't know why they don't do it like how Max does it in like conjunction with like a TV station, like Ninja Kamui. They had on
Kamui.
it. Sorry, they had it on Toonami.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So
That show went so hard for like
yeah,
most
so they
of it.
had it on Toonami, and then I think like the next day you could watch it on Max if you missed it
Oh.
live airing.
That's pretty cool.
Like I don't know why they don't go that route, because like you'd probably get a lot more eyes on it. You know.
Yeah, but they don't care.
I guess that's
So
fair.
is it also on Hulu? Because
Yeah.
usually
Yes, it
okay,
is on Hulu.
They have
It is
both.
technically a Hulu show.
Oh okay.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it on Disney Plus.
I mean, it is because the merger happened.
I know, but I feel like sometimes when I look up things that I know are
It
Yeah,
was
they're
there
on,
because I
they
started
don't
watching it.
transfer over.
Yeah, I started watching it there, and then I forgot that my Disney Plus does not come with the Hulu has ads. So then I go to the other Hulu because Anthony has
Right.
Hulu without ads.
Oh wait,
Yeah, I have Simran's with
can
no
it
ads,
be on
but
there
mine
if
has
you have the
ads,
bundle,
so-
but if you have separate, it won't show
Well, I
up?
mean, it's
Does that make
technically it's
sense?
supposed to be automatically bundled now.
Oh, okay.
Technically, but anyway, well, I'm curious. What did you rate the show?
I mean, I
Oh, you don't have a Mal,
I mean, I do. I just never use
right?
it.
Well,
or
what
update it.
would you give the show?
Would you mentally give it?
I guess I'd give it like I feel so bad for saying this, but I'll give it like a 6.
See, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I gave it a 7 just because a lot of the fights were great.
And I mean, I got a 6.68, I think. So, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it makes
like-
sense.
Like, the fights made that show for me, where everything else, I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I agree that the fights look great. Like, the visuals of the show are high tier.
Genuinely, they got really good with the, like, fight choreography and everything with the show, too.
And the nightmares now, like,
So fluid.
so fluid. Because it's almost comical when you look at it, like, Suzaku's, like, nightmare fighting in the original Code Geass. It was like, wow, like, this is crazy, right? That would be, like, basic nightmare frames in this show.
Yeah, like, if
in
it
terms
was,
of comparison.
Yeah, like, obviously, if they redid the show, I'm sure it would be the same thing. But it's
Right.
like, but if you just compare based on animation, like, Ash would fucking wreck Suzaku's shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
purely based
Like,
on animation.
No chance.
Yeah.
But yes, I think the animation is extremely high quality and it looks great. It's just the pacing and overall story is just so messy that I'm like, I cannot in good faith give it a 7.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I think it's just that the fights carried it a bit more for me that I was like willing to give it the 7. But I agree. It's like, but it also wasn't like, I don't know. It's 12 episodes. It went by pretty fucking fast, even for how much of a travesty it is. So like I got like the first 5 episodes in, like originally, like when they all were out, and I just
Right.
binged them, and I was like, that was easy. The second half though was a bit harder, especially again because it just felt like I was watching the same fucking show but worse.
Yeah.
But the fights were cool,
It's like watching a recap.
and also I got to see Akito. So you know what? Akito gets it the 1 extra point. That's all it is. Just him showing up. I'm like, hell yeah. There's the crew. There's the hot French lady with the giant tits. We're rolling. We're running.
Yeah, what's her name? Leia? Something like that?
Something
I
like
think
that.
it's Leia.
Fucking on it, the Akito show OVAs are so good,
So good.
and they just get better with each one. And their nightmare frames are pretty cool.
Yeah. I like the, like, spider...
Yeah, the spider mech
Yeah,
versions.
those ones are cool.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just like it sucks that it was absolutely needed to be any amount longer.
Yeah, I think...
But but again, if it was still the same story, I don't know if I would have cared if it was longer because I still felt like I was watching the same story.
But the pacing would have been better.
True, but
I
if I feel like I'm watching the same thing, I feel like I'd rather just watch the old one.
There's other stuff that you're talking about that's not
Well, right, but like the main plot beats are all
the overarching
kind of the same.
threat.
Yeah,
The
like,
beginning point is the same.
and also again, like you also how you said how would they stop this from happening again? A, it undermines the end of the original show.
Yeah.
B, they literally first seconds of the opening of the show is Japan erected a barrier of whatever the fuck that is supposed to keep the Britannians out. Because they went, fuck it, we're not having. Yeah, they're like, we're not having this happen again.
Yeah.
And then, not in the same same breath,
Yeah.
they're like, and it didn't work. So everyone, they're all 11s now, and they're all fucking, segregated again. And you're like,
It's like you didn't
Great,
even try to come up with
Yeah,
it.
I'm like,
bro, what the fuck?
I was so glad you brought up this fucking barrier that took them like $1 billion to like $20 billion to erect and make around the entire island of Japan, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You're like, so why set it up at all? Why even bring that up as a plot point?
Because they didn't know it wasn't gonna work.
I think I'm more willing to like hand wave that yes, it's a lot of the same circumstances. If they had time to develop these characters and these relationships,
Yeah.
and I cared about the groups and like wanting to see justice prevail.
Yeah, because like if it was like a 50, right? Like
Yeah.
we could have learned about those other groups that seemed like they were supposed to be important that we knew about that we totally
Yeah.
didn't know about.
Yeah.
And then you could have gotten a little
And-
more of Akito or Zero.
And I think because Neo Britannia is siding with the side of humanity, right? And they're like, yeah, maybe our cause is not worth it, right? We do not work under Norland anymore. We're disavowing him, right?
He does not speak for us.
Exactly. So like because he was their leader, right?
Yeah.
So their turn within their own organization could have been super compelling, right? Of them being like, is what we're doing even right? Like, they could have gone through all these things, but because every character gets 3 seconds to be like, okay, here's my name and here's what I'm about, like, it just doesn't matter, you know? And like, there's this one character who we see kind of sprinkled throughout, who is part of Neo Britannia's forces, but she doesn't, like, she's kind of like the Suzaku of the group, right? Like, she wants to change it from the inside. But I'm like, it kind of doesn't work in that context, but whatever, right?
But I feel like there just isn't time for that.
No,
like,
there absolutely
there
is.
isn't.
Suzaku had
at
so
all.
much time.
But this is within the context of this show, right?
Yeah.
So she's already, like, pretty high up in the ranks, right? It's not like Suzaku, who's starting as like a foot soldier.
No,
kind of
but
thing.
I'm just saying, like, there's not time for to show her do it. Like,
correct.
in
But
general.
her character is supposed to be that.
Yeah.
And then supposedly her and Ash, because Ash, before he's with Rozé, this is going to drive me crazy. So Ash, before he's with Rozé, was part of the Neo-Britannian military, and he was like really high up in terms of like military ranking, right?
He was like an assassin.
He was, like a political assassin, right? And she knew him at that time, and I guess they had like a good rapport relationship or whatever. And then he fucks off because then Rozé steals his mind, whatever. So she's surprised that he's working for like the freedom fighter groups now, because she's like, bruh, what?
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm at the beginning, this is in like the first 2 episodes, so I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna get some kind of like interesting character dynamics here, right? Absolutely not, because we do not have time for that, right? And then we keep seeing this woman, she keeps being like, on behalf of Neo Britannia, being like, no, like, we can't just bombard these people, like, we got to do it politically correctly, like, have diplomacy, blah blah blah. I'm like, do you have the power to do that or not?
Yeah.
Like, pick one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was driving me crazy
Sometimes.
the whole time.
Sometimes.
Because she kept being in these important meetings with all these groups and federations and blah 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 as the sole representation for Neo Britannia. I'm like, which is it? Does she have enough clout to make these choices or not? Like,
Also, the way that the mad scientist guy finds out that Sakia has a Gias and is also running around free is because during one of those times where Ash is meeting her, she runs after him to like hear in on the conversation.
oh my god, it's so stupid.
And she's like, they got the vehicle. I need a vehicle of some kind, and runs up to like a gas station and is like, hey, I'm taking your bike, guy. And he's like, fuck you are. And she's like, I'm taking your bike. Fuck off. And he's like, okay.
Here's
And
the
then
key.
she gets on, and then she gets on the bike and drives
caught
away.
on surveillance tape
Uh-huh.
doing this. And they're like, Gias.
Yeah, and they're like, this random gas station security tape that we're totally watching at all times to know enough that somebody would do this.
It's so dumb.
And as if he can't, like, change his mind to give her the bike. Like, yeah.
There was no audio,
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know. Like, yeah, he probably won't change his mind. But, like, to automatically just be like, Gios. Yep.
Well, they do this very hand wavy thing, being like, "Oh, you were using your Gias so recklessly. We caught you in 4K, right?" And they show like other examples of her using it in public, but I'm like, be so fucking for real.
Yeah.
Do you know how many CCTVs are in Japan? Like,
Yeah.
fuck out of here with that.
Yeah, it's absurd to an nth degree. And again, there's no moral dilemma with that fucking shit he throws out. I want to bring that up again and stress how stupid it is that they die either way. So she's not getting out of it. She shouldn't, like, you're fucked. Just get over it.
It's just, and then it's so funny because after we go through all of this, right? So you're thinking, okay, she's been exposed, right? Like, so Ash knows that she's not his brother and she tricked him, right?
Yeah.
But then after this, they go back to normal.
Wait, I
there's-
don't think I ever asked this.
Yeah.
Why did she choose him and, like, to do this? She just needed, like, a high-ranking
He just
person?
ran up to her and she recognized him, right? She knew that he was.
She knew he was part of Neo Britannia's military forces, and she thought he was the person that killed her father.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she was like, cool, I need to make a quick getaway. I'm going to use you as a tool.
And then I'll kill you. And then he kept kind of being useful.
Right. But what's crazy is after they go back to being more normal and working together and him understanding, because they even agree, like, you should keep up the Rozé front because it's useful for, like, our communications with these other groups.
Wait, so did he never want to be part of Neo Britannia? Like when
he was like child soldier forced kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, when he's reversed, why did he want to stay with her?
Because like I said earlier, he became good friends with her father. Mm-hmm. And then her father, when he was going to be executed, asked him to take care of her.
Oh, okay.
And also maybe marry her. And he was like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'll protect your daughter. Like, I'll put my life on it.
But there's no real, like, through line in terms of, like, early childhood to child soldier to...
Yeah, he just kind of gets sent off to
prison.
another house from an orphanage. Mm-hmm. And then he's in Norland's house.
Yeah.
And they're like, with his brother. And he's like, all right, do what you got to do to survive. Also, I don't want the fucking sick kid, so get him out of here. And he's like, I'll do anything if you let the sick kid be around, my brother. And he's like, yeah, okay, fine. And then he starts making him murder people and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And then he kills the brother anyway.
Yeah, he sure does. And then...
Mad scientist...
No, Norland.
No,
I'm
Norland.
just joking.
Oh.
The mad scientist says he's going to kill them anyways.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. And then, I forget, when it ends, is Ash still fine? Not fine? Do we know he's dead, right? Is Ash dead?
Is it conclusive like that? Because
I forget. Isn't it?
That he dies in the
Because the mech explodes.
That's true. But if Ash...
We've seen lots of mechs explode and the people aren't dead.
Ash,
so.
Breaks off the connection with Rosé's
Yeah, because
mech.
their thing is like this.
Like, detaches it, and then, he, you've never seen Dragon Ball, but, fucking Chaozu just self-destructs himself. He, full Nelson's Norland's robot,
we can
and it's
say
we're
he
done.
is.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
Just Google it.
That's a good idea. But yeah, this show kind of drives me crazy.
Because they had potential.
It really did.
Oh, yeah, Ash Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, that's his name.
No, he's dead.
Sick.
He's dead. He was also 19. But yeah.
A man lived 1,000 lives at 19.
Sure did.
Story
Also,
has
so
lived
many
1,000 lives.
so many people in the show also have fucking Yu-Gi-Oh hair.
Yes. This has chronic, but it's not like OG Yu-Gi-Oh hair. This is 5D.
5D.
Oh,
This is
Yu-Gi-Oh
Yu-Gi-Oh
hair.
Zexal.
Look.
Oh, no.
Level.
Sick.
Just random blue spiky part of his hair, and so many
And
characters
it's
have
so
that kind of
funny
thing.
because
name's
Rozé
Ash,
also has a color streak, so you would think that they must have been born like that, but then in the kid flashbacks they don't have them.
Yeah.
They just dye in their hair. They just want to be sick.
I'm like, oh, okay.
But yeah, it's
They just want to express themselves.
so not only does Ash do all this stuff and whatnot, then he doesn't even get to marry Sakuya.
Nope.
He just dies.
Raspberry.
Yeah. Raspberry's lost to him forever.
No.
But do you think Sakuya would even go for that at that point?
It doesn't
Sure.
sound like she's interested.
No, I think she probably would have because she's never known
Maybe out
anyone
of
to like her
pity.
like that.
Out of
And he just
pity?
saved her life multiple times through this entire thing.
yeah, maybe out of pity.
Yes.
Pity Mary.
No, she's probably just into Sakura.
I don't think so.
I think she'd be fine with it.
No, if anything, Ash should have ended up with Sakura, because then he gets the visuals of Sakuya,
Without the baggage.
but without the baggage, without the emotional
Right.
trauma.
But then you don't get the blue iris.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah.
he only loves her for her eyes.
Yeah.
And then I remember. So are you more fine with Lelouch showing up for that 5 seconds? Because I remember when we first talked about it, you were like, I don't like that he's even there.
Yeah, I personally, I don't see any point.
I think it doesn't matter. I think it affects it none, and it's just oh, that's how she got the power. It makes sense. Now we know what Lelouch is doing with C2.
I mean,
He's just like,
She's
yeah,
C2?
go. Yeah, she's just in the back. Does she have lines? I don't know. Yeah, she does. She talks to
yeah,
him.
she says 3 words.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
I don't think it changes anything.
I don't think it changes anything either, but there's no reason anyway.
But
Wow, wait,
the only
sorry.
two people that could
Wait,
give.
Wait. How crazy is that if you don't watch the movies and you think he's fucking dead, and then to watch this?
And he's just there.
Yes, because I only know because you guys told me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he haha. He's actually they pan out and he's there. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
dead. He can't die. But because I haven't watched. Was a movie or whatever?
it's a movie.
Yeah, because I have not watched that, and I'm sure lots of people lots of anime movies are skipped. You wouldn't know that.
I think though also because I remember that scene of like them on like the horse hay carriage or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw that wasn't in the movie. I think
It's
there
at
is
the end of
It's
the
at the end of the show.
no. That's why
But he's not there.
No. What I'm trying to say is,
Oh.
I think
There
there
was a
had
different
to have been
cut,
an
and you
alternate
didn't see
cut
that?
because I remember seeing
Like on
that
TV or something.
when I first watched it, and I don't remember even what I watched this on at the time.
Yeah.
Because this was years ago, but I feel like I remember distinctively.
That you saw.
I saw that
That's
in
creepy.
the show, not in a movie.
Yeah.
And you saw
and for some
Lelouch
reason
there.
they changed it. What the hell?
So I don't know if maybe they had like an extended cut or something,
know.
well, for like a DVD box set or
You know,
something.
just being so confused to watch this.
You
and then
know?
he's just there. It's like, what the fuck? Why
Because
are
I
you
knew
doing
that
it?
was a thing before I watched the movie.
Yeah.
You
that's
know?
weird. But sorry to cut you off. You could go on about your.
Oh,
So-
well, like only two people in the world can give someone Gios at this point. So like you had to figure. People would be like, where the fuck did she meet them to get the Gios anyway? So like they just answer that question right quick and get it out of the way. They're like, yep, she ran into Lelouch. Lelouch was like, you want to fucking ruin an empire? Go for it. And then he's like, all right, bye. And then he leaves, and C2's like, you really want to do that again? He's like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
He's like, it's for funsies. It doesn't affect me anymore, so why not?
Yeah, they're like in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, they're
And-
just chilling.
Yeah, and then she goes back. So like, people would ask the question of how she got it anyway. So they're just like, all right, here it is. Gonna leave. Then they'll never come up again.
I guess that's fair. I feel like Gios is used like way less strategically in this show.
She does just kind of throw it around.
She
Is she
does.
the only one? Oh no, in the reverse.
So
Also, her
there's a
thing
reason.
changes her iris too,
my God.
and she has like a voice modulator necklace that also changes her eyes from being purple to like blue or green or whatever.
To be Rozé.
Yeah.
They like somehow when she presses the button, it
Gives her
gives
auto
her different
contacts.
eyes. Yeah.
Very interesting. I
Oh.
like how you're just like, we have this very small topic that we'll go over very quickly.
Yeah, it kind of went.
Good thing I asked lots of questions.
I
I
mean,
very
yeah.
engaged.
Yeah, it kind of just kept going. There was a lot to talk about this show, surprisingly.
I
I was
mean-
mostly just expecting the conversation was going to be, I didn't like it. Here's some reasons why, and we should move on.
Honestly, just the amount of plot beats that happened in 12 episodes, I couldn't not be like,
That's
bro,
what I'm
this
saying,
shit is
like,
insane.
I think we talked more about this than some shows we actually did, like a
Fully
full
watched,
anime
yeah, yeah,
club
yeah.
that all three of us watched. Like, I didn't even watch this fucking show.
This show is wild.
So, Kat, out of everything we just said, what would you give the show?
I would give it a 7. It sounded kind of interesting.
Honestly, if you watch
Yeah.
it, let me know your thoughts.
Okay.
Sage, would you recommend
I'm
it?
definitely gonna watch the maid cafe scene.
I would say I would recommend it only because I like the Code Geass franchise, and like it's not like they haven't had a short form story before that they did well on.
Right.
So like maybe this was just a slight slip up, and we can
Slight.
Just go watch Akito instead.
and in like 5 years, because their output is like every 5 years here's some random Code Geass content. So maybe in 5 years we can get some like
They'll fix
real
it.
like good meaty plot.
Kat, would you recommend it?
Yeah.
All right, nice.
I would.
I probably would, but go watch Akito instead would be my
Honestly, yeah.
like it's not like you don't have to skip it, but like go watch Akito. It's a better time.
Watch the OG Code Geass if you want this exact story, just way better.
Yeah, and if you want a more Code Geass, go watch Akito instead.
Yeah, for sure.
But like this isn't terrible. Just don't watch it immediately after watching Code
it's-
Geass either.
Yeah, because doing it that way, I was like, oh, this was a mistake.
It sure was.
It just sounds. I know it's not, but from just like I know that there's serious stuff that happens in it, like, and you guys are just memeing on it, but like from just hearing that, it almost sounds like it's like a parody of like
It
the
feels
show.
like it sometimes.
Kind of,
yeah.
Because
It feels like
like you're saying, like there is serious moments, but you can't take them seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't even know your name right now.
Like they don't give you time to learn them.
No, absolutely not.
No, I could name a pretty good handful of people from Code Geass. Couldn't name more than 3 people in the show
I think I could name.
that don't show up in other shows.
I think I could name 90% of the characters in Code Geass.
I definitely couldn't
could
do that,
name 3 characters in Rozé.
All right, I could do Ash, Rozé, Sakura, Raspberry.
Does that count?
Well, Rozé and Sakuya
Yeah,
are also the same.
I was just like, they're all just like personas.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just, like, do they all count as like different people? I was like, I don't know if you gave me. Oh, Norlin.
That's it.
Yep. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if you gave me other characters. I did pretty good for
All
not
right.
even watching.
Well, with that, it's the end of this week's episodes. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow. Let us know what you think of Rozé if you saw it. You have 4 weeks to watch season 1 of Haikyuu, so get on that.
Find it.
Find it. Yeah, you are gonna have to find it. I apologize, but look, do what you got to do.
Unless you want to watch it in Spanish.
Yeah, or watch it in Spanish if you know Spanish. And
That's what I'm gonna
don't
do.
forget to check Cat at the Moonstar on Twitch, and we will see you guys next week for whatever it is we talk about.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.